Medieval beer was healthy. Modern beer isn't. Here's why. Beer didn't start as a party drink. It actually started as survival tech. Before nightclubs, before bar stools, before craft anything, beer was medicine, food, and clean water rolled into one muddy-looking mug. Medieval people weren't drinking beer to get smashed. They were drinking it to stay alive. And here's the uncomfortable truth modern breweries don't like to talk about. The beer your ancestors trusted with their health is nothing like the beer you're drinking today. Let's crack this open properly. Beer was safer than water, and that changed everything. In the medieval world, water was dangerous. Rivers doubled as sewers. Wells sat too close to livestock waste. Microscopic killers were everywhere, even though no one knew what microbes were yet. People didn't need germ theory to notice a pattern. Drink untreated water, get sick. Drink beer, stay upright. The brewing process was the key. Grains were boiled. Boiling killed pathogens. Fermentation followed, creating alcohol and acids that made it even harder for harmful bacteria to survive. Medieval beer wasn't sterile in a modern lab sense, but compared to water, it was a fortress. That's why beer was consumed daily by adults, children, monks, labourers, and even the sick. This wasn't reckless behaviour. It was practical public health. Medieval beer was liquid bread with benefits. Calling medieval beer beer almost undersells it. Honestly, it was closer to liquid porridge, thick, cloudy, full of nutrients. Brewers didn't filter it into crystal clarity, they left the good stuff in. Grains contributed calories and complex carbohydrates. Yeast added B vitamins essential for energy, brain function and metabolism. Some medieval beers even retained proteins and trace minerals from the mash. This made beer a dietary staple, especially during times of food scarcity. For labourers burning thousands of calories a day, beer was fuel. For monks fasting half the year, it was nourishment. For the poor, it was survival. Modern beer, by comparison, is stripped bare. Filtered, refined, polished for shelf life and visual appeal. The nutrients that once made beer sustaining are now mostly gone. Here's another myth worth smashing. Medieval people were not constantly drunk. Most medieval beers were low in alcohol, often between 1% and 3%. These were known as small beers. You could drink them all day without losing your footing. They hydrated more than they intoxicated. Higher alcohol beers existed, but they were reserved for celebrations, payments, or special occasions. Daily drinking focused on mild brews that kept people functional, not foolish. Modern beer flips this logic. Higher alcohol content is the selling point. Stronger equals better. Bigger buzz equals more value. The health cost of that shift is obvious. Before hops dominated brewing, medieval beer was often flavoured with herbs. Not random herbs, functional ones. Many had antimicrobial properties that helped preserve the beer. Others aided digestion or had mild calming effects. These weren't trendy additions, they were chosen through generations of observation and trial. Beer was part of the medieval medical toolkit. It delivered herbs safely, consistently, and in a form people actually consumed. Modern beer focuses almost entirely on hops for bitterness and aroma. While hops have some benefits, the wide herbal diversity that once supported health has disappeared. Medieval brewers didn't know the word probiotic, but they understood the results. Fermentation transformed raw ingredients into something easier to digest and safer to consume. Live yeast and naturally occurring microbes helped break down compounds that could irritate the gut. This made medieval beer gentler on digestion than raw grains or contaminated water. Modern beer is usually filtered, pasteurized, and stabilized. That kills off most living cultures. What remains is shelf-stable, consistent, and biologically quiet. Good for profits, not great for your gut. The real break didn't happen slowly. It happened fast. Industrial brewing prioritized speed, consistency, and scalability. Grains were refined, sugars isolated, fermentation shortened. Additives introduced to control flavor and appearance. The goal was no longer nourishment. It was, well, repeatability. Calories stayed, alcohol rose, nutrients fell. Beer became entertainment instead of sustenance. That doesn't make modern beer evil, but it does make it fundamentally different from what medieval people drank every day. Medieval brewers worked with nature, while modern brewers, fight it. Medieval brewing was local, seasonal, reactive. Brewers adjusted to the grain harvest, the weather, and the yeast in the air. Beer reflected its environment. Modern brewing fights variability, temperature-controlled tanks, engineered yeast strains, chemical stabilizers. Predictability is king. In gaining control, beer lost its relationship with place and process. And with that loss came a quiet, nutritional hollowing. Medieval people weren't ignorant brutes accidentally doing something right. They were practical, observant, adaptive. They brewed beer because it kept them alive. They drank it because it fed them. They trusted it because it worked. Modern beer is not designed to do those things. It's designed to sell, to last, and to deliver a buzz. That difference matters. Understanding this doesn't mean abandoning modern beer forever. It means recognizing that not all beer is created equal. It means, asking what was lost in the march toward convenience, and it means respecting the quiet intelligence baked into medieval life. Medieval beer was health insurance in a cup. Modern beer is a luxury product with ancient branding. Same word, completely different purpose. History isn't just about wars and kings. Sometimes it's about what people drank every day to survive another winter. If this kind of forgotten knowledge matters to you, if you enjoy uncovering how the past quietly shaped the present, then you're in the right place. Subscribe to Ancient Roots Uncovered, share this with someone who thinks history is boring, and stick around. The past still has a lot to teach us.